So, hi guys. Wow, big trial times we are in. A pandemic that is really destroying lives, destroying generations. At the same time, we've got another injustices wave coming, actually covering the whole globe, from Chinese racism to American injustices. These are all things that are happening in our world, even in this pandemic. And I woke up this morning and I had what I call a cocktail of emotions, and I didn't know how to deal with them. So what I did was I actually wrote an email to myself so that I could just get them out, you know, relieve myself of these things. So I'm going to be reading the email that I wrote to you guys. I don't know. I can't explain what's going in my head. It's anger. I gotta stay positive as well. So okay. Anyway, here we go. It's an emotional cocktail for me. I am trying to remain sober, stay focused, be responsible, calm some nerves, protect and teach my daughters, nieces, and nephews, be a mentor, and be a bigger person. But gosh, it's hard. It has always been hard balancing these emotions. I gotta keep them in check in order to be able to survive in this white man supremacy culture. I gotta keep myself in check. Yeah. Right now, with everything that's happening, this is now like 100 folds harder for me to actually understand, and everything is like just wants to explode in me. I am originally from Zimbabwe. I stay in the UK, and it's afternoon, late afternoon right now, and I've been having these emotions throughout the day. So, like I said, I come from Zimbabwe, one of the so many African countries or African nations trying to escape the clutches of the white domination. Yeah. Zimbabwe, I'm a neighbor to Azania. You know, Azania is the country commonly known as South Africa. They were not given a chance. They were not even allowed to change their name to Azania by the dominance forces. Yeah, they have to keep it as South Africa, but their African name is Azania. Yeah, and so my neighboring guys in South Africa, where the white dominate over the natives, is still deemed too hot a subject to actually talk about that. You can't talk about redistribution of wealth in South Africa right now because it destabilizes the world order of doing things. Yeah, so it's not the right time right now. That's what they say. So I wonder, when will it ever be the right time? I don't know. Maybe when all the diamond and platinum mines have run dry. Yeah, I don't know. These things are confusing at the moment for me. Yeah, I feel tired. At the same time, I feel a rush of adrenaline throughout my whole body. I feel energized. Positive and negative thoughts are having a very much intense debate in my head. A very intense debate in my head is happening, and I know we black people, of this world have been the peacekeepers for too long without any due respect of or recognition for it. You know, the history books that I read say that the white men came into Zimbabwe, to the native empires of Rhodri people, and they were welcomed, accommodated, yeah. But the local peoples did not know or did not have any answers or get any straight answers why these strange-looking people were actually in their lands. However, they were accommodated. The second wave, the second ship that followed these visitors of the Rhodri Empire or our native Zimbabwean people came straight, and it was brutal killing, looting, kidnapping, raping our great-grandmothers, killing our great-grandfathers, chasing them off the lands. And it became apparent that the second ship was actually there to execute exactly what the first visitors had come to do, to strategize actually how to grab these people's land, our people, my people's lands, to grab it and push them out of their lands. Why? Why? All the way from Europe. Why? Yeah? So I've lived with this history. I don't know, guys. But what happens is that up to now, most of these lands are still very much in the white dominant race owned lands. Yeah, they still own some of the biggest lands in Zimbabwe. Yeah, some of them bigger than the little cities that we see here in the UK. Yeah, and let me just give you some substance so that you understand. You know, so for example, I want to resettle my family at one point in Zimbabwe, and where I am going to settle my family, I want to build a home for them. I want to build a house for them. I also want to be able to use that land so that I can farm and sustain my family. Here is the catch. For me to be able to do that, I am actually buying that land. I'm actually buying that land for hundreds of thousands of US dollars. Yeah? And I'm buying it from people that actually never paid any cent. Never paid any dime for that land. And I am buying that. Okay. Let's put that aside. Yeah. This cocktail brewing here, it's becoming to taste very bitter to the mind, to the body, and I can feel it. You know, as I'm writing this email, I can feel it. You know, but I have to keep myself in check. I have to be the sober person. I have to be the responsible person and not be reckless. I don't know why. Do I really have to stay sober? Do I really have to stay, you know, in check? Do I really have to not explode? Not be reckless? Yeah. After all, the white people get drunk on this cocktail that is happening in my head, and they become so reckless with it. When they are drunk with this cocktail, they become so reckless. Yeah, and they actually don't see anything good to be done when they are this drunk with this cocktail. So I wonder, I ask myself, should I really keep sober? Why do I have to stay sober and never experience the thrill of getting drunk with this cocktail? Why? When every time the white man gets drunk on it. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a trial time that we are in. And as far as I'm concerned, I am going to exit this world. And if I stay sober, responsible, and be the bigger man in a situation like how our black foxes have always been, that means I am actually going to live and exit this world after actually giving my kids that same teaching. Does that really help them? Or it actually continues or subjects them to the continuation of the brutality of the brutality of the white supremacy culture? Is this my purpose as a father? Is this what I should actually pass on to my kids? For how long should we keep passing this to generation and generation and generation? Guys, keep yourselves in check. Guys, behave like this. Yesterday, I had a very huge surprise. A colleague of mine sent me a video on a lady called Kimberly Jones. She is an American lady, and she actually gave me a lesson or a lecture on American history, black history, that I didn't know at all. Yeah, I didn't know that there was something called the Black Wall of America until yesterday, which was actually communities that the African black Americans had actually developed and grew very successful businesses, billion-dollar businesses, yeah, with good infrastructures, schools, clinics, hospitals, you name it, they had it. A bus system that would carry people to work, kids to school, it was there. Do you know what happened to it? The KK burned it down. I didn't know about this. I loved history in school. Well, I never read anything about this in the history books. Yeah? But they burn it down to keep the African person in check. And now they ask you to fight on a playing field to gain that wealth back. We are deemed poor societies. You know, I want to relate this black hole of America to our African empires. Because in Zimbabwe, we had the Rosary Empire. They were like our Black Wall Empire. Yeah? They were like our Black Wall Street. They were rich. No one ever died of hunger. And down in the south, there was the Zulu Empire. again, a very formidable force which never looked or asked for any food aid from anyone. We were sustaining ourselves. We were well. We were healthy. Very healthy beings. Yeah? And now, as we actually have this conversation, Zimbabwe right now is actually being reported by the World Bank, by the UN, that, there is actually going to be serious hunger in Zimbabwe. Most probably for the second, third year going. People are going to die of hunger. There is not enough food. Some actually reports that people are dying on a daily basis in Zimbabwe. Now that the white dominant forces are in our country, we're now dying of hunger. My country, Zimbabwe, is still being victimized today about trying to address the land issue for their people, to take back the land that I am buying now to go and resettle my family. They are still victimized up to today for having that discussion nearly a decade ago. Yeah, even more than a decade ago. Yeah, but you know what? I applaud my government for that and for the stance that they took. I am not talking about whether the methods were good or bad. No, I am not talking about that. And why I am not talking about that, and I am right now, I really don't care whether the methods were good or bad, but what I know as a black person surviving in this world is that sometimes you only play the cards you are dealt. And those are the cards they were dealt at that moment. But let's keep on Kimberly. Yeah, Kimberly Jones. So Kimberly goes on to say, you know what, white people? You broke the contract that you had with the black people of America. They could go and live their lives freely and develop themselves freely. And when they did that, when they accumulated wealth, you came in and burned it. And you've been burning all their wealth from even the streets of the poorest ghettos in America. You still go in there and burn the little that they still have. So you broke the contract. And I second what she is saying, because you did break a contract with Zimbabwe. You also did break a contract with Saddam. You did break a contract with Gaddafi. Most recently, you broke a contract with Iran. So this is your way of living, your way of life. You break these contracts whenever you choose to, and you impose your supremacy on everyone. Kimberly goes on to say, they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge. They are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge. Well, to that, Kimberly, I add, at the moment. This stance might change depending on the speed, effectiveness, efficiency, and the outcome of the corrective discussions we all need to have yesterday. Everyone in this world needs to be on this discussion table. Everyone. All human colors, politicians, corporate leaders, religious entities needs to be on this table. And we need to have an outcome yesterday. And that outcome has to be positive for all colors. I want you to know something. And please, please, all the black men and women, Latinos, mighty Red Indians, American Red Indians, Australian Aborigines, the Jews, the Asians, the Maoris of New Zealand. We are part of this world. We are the great pillars of this world. Know it, and please own it. Own it. It's tough to be puppets for too long and to be playing a sober mind for too long. I included the corporate worlds because even in here in the UK, there is very much a lot of institutional racism in the corporate world. Believe you me, I've been there. I've been there. I've worked there. I'm part of it. And I still have to check myself. And at the end of the day, go home and play daddy. And then go home and be a father. Makes me angry. Makes me want to explode. But I gotta check myself. But until when? Let's come together. Let's work something positive for the generations to follow. Did all these people, the Floyds of this world, needed to die in this way for this conversation to get to this magnitude? Did they really have to die for us to get to these magnitudes? The Steve Bikos, yeah, the Chris Hannis, the Tongogaras of Zimbabwe, yeah? Did they all have to die until we get to here? There are lots of African leaders that have died fighting for this. And we are still here saying it's still hot a subject to talk about. Please, let's get a life early and let's have this discussion like yesterday. Thank you.